Hi, I'm Bran, and I love
Okay. All right.
When Calls the Heart.
Hi, I'm Jax, and I legitimately like When Calls the Heart.
I'm Dan, and Jax is legitimately lying, and this is the Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast.
Brandon and friends host this podcast. We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Oh, yeah, look at us.
boy.
The gang's back together.
We're back, baby. And also, just a quick apology. Jax is not lying. She finds the good in everything, and so this is her toughest challenge yet. But I'm sure she's going to find some good
true.
in When Calls the Heart here as well.
Jax, welcome back. How are you?
Good, I missed you guys a lot.
Now, did you listen to our thoughts?
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't. I heard a little bit about what you said
From people?
from Sheila.
Oh, she's talking to you. She's not going to listen to us during this, I don't believe. We love you, Sheila. The incomparable,
We love you,
inimitable Sheila Calloway.
Mm-hmm.
Who doesn't
What's
need
that
our
last word?
inimitable? Not to be imitated.
Inimitable.
Can't be imitated.
Inimitable.
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 Not inimitable.
Imitable.
Imitable. No, in my nipple is what you said, and that's not
In my
okay.
nipple.
No.
Inimitable.
No. Inimitable.
Imitable.
You got it.
Yeah, you
And I will say this: I think if Sheila got it to you, I'm sure you heard enough. But also, to be fair, and this is true. Normally, we're going to pull back the curtain just a little bit. I know we do a bit with Ted and everything, but Jax got off a plane how many hours ago? Like maybe 12
Yeah, 12 hours ago.
from Senegal. So
Did you consider asking Ted to just fly you here?
that's right.
Because we record on Mondays.
I did think about that, and there's actually no direct flights from Dakar to Greenville.
Wow, it's unbelievable.
You should
that
have taken.
GSP doesn't
You should
take a
have
direct.
taken Dakar.
Ha! Got him.
That
It was
was
right
cute,
there.
Bran.
And you did it.
That was cute, Brad.
Now, did you have a good time? You were building houses, doing good
And that
work.
organization, I looked them up because I'm always like wary of these. Let's go build something or paint something in a foreign country place. I just am.
Yes.
I am
Dan
as-
speaks for himself. There's no one I would trust more with building than my good friend Jax.
But no, it's not Jack's building. It's that you and I spent a childhood going to foreign countries to paint the side of a building. And for no reason at all, and build
but those
no
side of buildings
build no
really-
relationships, love no one, and so so when you did this, you went to Guatemala, and I've been to Guatemala twice. I looked up the company, and they were amazing company. So I'd love for you to shout them out because I was interested in going after reading about it.
Oh, wait. If you're interested in
I would love
going
to.
at any time, you guys, Build On is the organization. And it's really great because we go into a community that wants a school. We raise money for the school and we build the school alongside the community.
Perfect.
And equal numbers of boys and girls have to attend the school,
I love
which is
it.
very cool. So yeah, it's really amazing. The community was really, Sobe Sensei was the community that we were in Senegal. I love my host family, just an incredible experience. So if you guys want to do it, I mean, we could, oh, and by the way, I want to let you guys know on the work site one day,
Yeah.
I was wearing my marathon t-shirt and Paul Freeman, Aaron Cahill's husband, was wearing the Despise shirt,
Wow.
the Deck the Hallmark
Oh,
Despise
yeah.
shirt. And we were like, Deck the Hallmark, baby.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So you
Man.
guys were there in spirit.
We were there in spirit.
We were there.
We were there
in spirit.
You're really handy with a hammer. You should be.
No
building
one knows
houses.
more about hammers and nails in general. Although I have, and it doesn't matter. I'm thinking about building something or working on something.
No, Bran, you would be really good because they direct you, and a lot of it, we're just doing like digging the foundation and doing the first like 5 days of work. So really, it's a lot of digging, a lot of like manual labor that doesn't require skill. And
There
I
it
don't
is.
say that because you don't have skill. I say because I don't have skill, and I was able to really do it.
It didn't sound that way though, Jackson. That's what's
I
important.
totally, after I said it, I was like, don't worry, Bran,
Don't
it
worry, Bran.
doesn't require
you
skill.
can be terrible and still
No, I
help.
understand. I
Yeah.
understand. One thing that I want to do one day when I'm getting older in age is I want to be a woods boy, a woodsman.
A woods boy.
Yeah. Like
do you
where
want
I-
to be? Do you want to go camping and live in the woods, or
No,
do you
I
want to be a woodworker?
I want to be a woodworker. I like the idea.
You like the idea?
a
of it.
lot.
Okay.
But I just don't have tools
Yeah, you don't.
or
You have-
general.
it's so weird because when I was a kid, I was like, I just don't know how my dad amassed all these tools, and now I look in my garage and I have so many tools that I don't need often, but
I don't have any tools.
you just borrow mine.
Yes, I just
You
borrow
have
yours.
Oh,
not-
that's adorable.
You've not amassed any.
No.
Like I just hand the leaf blower over the fence to Bram when it's time for him to blow out his backyard.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's battery powered. It's
Yeah,
no
I don't
big
know
deal.
how to. I don't know how to do. I don't know how to get tool. How do people do this? How do they get tools?
You just either ask for them in times in your
yeah,
life.
maybe I
or you
should
go
start
buy 'em.
asking for stuff.
Yeah.
Do you need like a starter kit?
Do you not have any? Do you not have a toolbox?
I have a-
I can start working. Like I can start giving you these.
I
for
have.
presents.
I have some screwdrivers. I have a drill.
So you do have a drill.
I do have a drill.
Okay, and you got some screwdrivers.
And I have some
you
screwdrivers.
have a hammer,
I don't think I have a hammer. I've got some pliers.
socket wrench set,
I don't have a socket wrench set.
and you have a pair of like needle nose, a pair of just regular pliers.
Both and
Okay,
of
so
different
You're,
Both
on,
hands.
of various sizes.
you're on the way
I'm on the way.
for inside stuff, especially. But
Yeah.
if you want to
But-
work you want to be a woods boy.
Well, one thing that I want to do is, my my shed in my backyard.
Yeah, the shed.
I would like to proof it in some way to make it into a music room. I don't want it to be a full. I don't need to do a full thing. I just
Yeah.
want it to be where I could put some stuff out there and record some music without it having to be worried about.
I think the biggest
yeah.
step that's the hurdle that's going to be the 1,000-foot mountain or whatever it is getting everything out of there and cleaning it out.
Yeah.
Sure,
I think if you do that, the rest of it you'll figure it out.
the rest is
You know-
easy.
Bran, you have built so many things creatively from the ground
good
up
Wow.
that like this is just you're just using a different set of tools
It's a
here.
different
don't need
set
this.
of tools. You're so sweet.
I don't need this.
You're so sweet.
Your creative toolbox is full.
It's full.
It's
That's full.
overflowing.
And you can't be. I can't pass those over to you over the fence, Dano. When Calls the Heart, season 12, episode 2 is what we're talking about today. It's called.
the good stuff.
It's called.
The bad stuff.
There it is.
called
That's accurate.
You Get What You Give.
Yeah, you get what you get.
January 12th, 2025 is when it premiered, and it went a little something like this. Allie is feeling.
I'm
Allie's feeling a little stuck in life. That's how this episode starts. So that's fun. Rosemary is pushing forward with the news radio show. So that's fun. There's a new edition of the comic book out, and the kids are pumped.
Yeah.
So that's fun. May Sue and Frickum return from their honeymoon, and they're being all awkward about it. Turns out they had food poisoning, and they lost their luggage. So that's fun.
Yeah.
Lucas and Lee meet with Edwin, and Edwin has some questions about the name of the park, namely, what's a Goldie? So there's going to be drama, I can already tell you. May Sue and Frickum go into his apartment, which appears to have flooded. Someone left the window open or something. I don't know. Elizabeth makes the kids leave their comics behind and go outside for a civics lesson. They find a wolf print in the mud, which is very exciting. Allie really takes a liking to this wolf print. Maybe she's going to turn into a wolf or something.
That'd be so awesome.
Get unstuck. Cadet Oliver, as you remember him, spills coffee all over Nathan's papers. So the drama's picking up in this one. Edwin brings a fancy pants woman named Edie in to explain some stuff about the park and how she thinks that they should do this. You shouldn't get all of it, basically. And what you're gonna get actually for your park is like this little tiny section. And Lucas is like, this is messed up. Lee's very upset. Lee's going to be very upset. Rosemary is freaking out because she doesn't have any news to talk about on her radio show when suddenly it hits her. The plague of the rise in comic book popularity and how it affects a small town. Tune in tonight to find out. May Sue and Frickum are in their first fight. Who left the window open? Gowan promises to pay kids. Gowan promises to pay kids in comic books if they work for him with with nuts.
All right.
The radio show begins, complete with a pocket xylophone. So that's fun. Lucas tells Lee about the small park that they're going to be getting instead of the big park, and Lee chews him out. and leaves. He's like, I'm out of here. I'm going back to Hope Valley. Frickum and May Sue make up. There's a potluck. Gowan and Joseph decide to go into the hazelnut business together.
I'm sorry.
Lee comes home and Rosemary is happy about that, but he leaves out a lot of the information. And Nathan and Elizabeth come outside to see the kids playing tag with each other, and they smile at one another. And that, my friends, was
When Calls the Heart, Season 12, Episode 2, You Get What You Give. Man, we did it.
Let's
did it.
There was a
take
lot of spirit in that synopsis.
Let's take
you
a
know,
break.
friend.
We'll come back. We'll break this episode down here on
Deck
Deck
the
the
Hallmark.
Hallmark. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Ding, ding, ding. Let's break down this episode of television here on Deck the Hallmark, Season 12, Episode 2 of When Calls the Heart, what we're talking about today. We're going to start with a hot take and sort of share exactly how we felt about this episode of television. We do not hold back. Jax, what'd you think about...
Jax is like, I can't see the screen. I didn't hear him there.
Jax, what'd you think about this one?
Jax is going to be building a house for When Calls the Heart this season.
Okay. I gotta say, and this will come as no surprise to you guys, I liked episode 2 better than episode 1 because Frickum is back. Frickum and May Sue, they're back. Okay. When I saw them roll in, and I have to ask you guys if you got this vibe too, when they rolled in after their honeymoon and they were being a little cagey, it reminds me, I didn't think they consummated the marriage. And it reminds me of friends who their first night being together is their first night being together. And then you ask them how it went and they're like, yeah, it was great. Like, and it's just, maybe they don't know where to put things and it's not as much fun as they thought it would be. So that is what I thought happened until they explained the food poisoning and the luggage getting lost. Did you guys get that vibe too?
Yeah. 100. 100%,
I will say
Jack.
this. When they got out of the car, I said, they're not married. That was I didn't let go all the way to where you went, which was all about like
Where do I
places
stick it in?
and things and where and who and how. But I did think these two left and went, this isn't a good match, and they're not married. So I didn't think of it in a consummation sense as much as I thought of it as they immediately realized they made a huge mistake and that they weren't going to be married, which would have been a massive, massive plot on this season of When Calls the Heart.
Believe it or not, Dan and I don't look at Frickum every time he's on screen and immediately start thinking about sex.
Did he have sex?
We don't.
With May Sue? It doesn't.
We don't go there.
It doesn't track to me. It doesn't track. I don't think they did it.
I thought we were all thinking the same. You know,
I will say
listeners,
this,
let us know if you thought what I thought.
The way they were acting did seem like they were not married. They were
Yeah.
not married. Whatever that means, that's what
To you,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like there was an awkwardness there
Yeah.
that was
Yes.
not great. Like
That
different than
wasn't
food
just
poisoning.
it wasn't a, like if you go on your honeymoon and you get sick or whatever and your bags get lost, you just go, listen, it was like you just go back and you go, hey, we lost our bags, we got sick, it was a whole thing. It was definitely memorable, but we'll have to go again sometime where all those things don't happen. Like you don't come back and act like you have to keep this big secret, right?
Yeah, and I think that's what felt so weird, that it wasn't just, or even if they were arguing, but it was worse than that. It almost was like this awkwardness. But I'm glad to see them back. Okay, guys, Edie, what a saucy minx. She is.
Yeah, Edie's attractive, but the problem is that it was so obvious. Like, we got this person that's going to talk to you about this thing, and then she opens the door, and literally before she walks on the screen, Bran goes, "Love interest," and then she walks on the screen, and it's like hair up, glasses on. Wait till we see hair down, glasses off. You know what I mean? Like it was this very clear. Like it was just such a softball of a. everyone that does land and building things in the 1920s, they all look like that. Do you know what I mean? And it's let's try to hide it as much as we can. It was just ridiculous. But yes, you're not.
But didn't you kind of like? I just was loving that phrase, the boys don't make passes at girls who wear glasses, which none of us believe. Glasses
I've never
are
heard that
really?
phrase in my life. Not
I
once.
guess that was just the thing that the 7th grade boys said when I got glasses that year.
Oh my God.
What was it?
Boys don't make passes at girls that wear glasses.
Thank you, Aaron.
Aaron has heard it. She says.
That's a good line. I mean, mean, but it's a good
super
line.
mean.
But a good line. But
A good
Edie
rhyme.
is hot as all get out.
People would make passes at Edie with glasses.
with glasses.
Yes.
People
get speedy when they see Edie. Something like that. I don't know. We can work on the rhymes
We can
later.
workshop it, but I really think I like it. I like it.
People get speedy when they see Edie.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so the two little girls, Lily and then her cute little friend, that's making me happy because the rest of these kids are too old to be in this classroom, and it's actually starting to freak me out.
Well, if you had listened last week, which I know you didn't, Jax, it's okay.
But I will now.
It's fine. It's fine. I did say I want to know where Elizabeth students voted in the 1920 election because that is a legitimate. It's getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand.
And they're still dressing them the same, which is upsetting.
Yes, it's getting out of hand. We're supposed to feel like they're in their early teens, but we all know that they're like closer to 20, if not in their 20s, and it's weird. It's a weird thing that they've got going, and they don't know how to tell kids that they're just too old to do this anymore. We need a new set of kids here in British Columbia. It's not like they're choosing the best actors. Am I right?
I think I won't speak to that, but guys, this is what happens. Like, I've had kids age out of Broadway shows just because they got too tall. Like, this is just part of the biz, and I don't mean to sound like
ageist.
They can go on to do.
I didn't know. So Lisa Hamilton Daly already got a new job. Huh? She's with us right now.
Jack's assistant for Lisa Hamilton Daly. Got it. Let's get these olds out.
I wish her well, but I also wish Penny Perry well. That's my official statement.
I love that when Allie gets fired, it's because she needs to be in a Hallmark Christmas movie. Yeah. Maybe her and Ezra can be in a movie together. Huh?
It's just. Yes, but the two little girls are just giving me life. Oliver's adorable. I'm into hazelnuts. I'm into the hazelnut plot line. You know, Nutella's one of my favorites. All in all, I thought this episode was a delight.
So this episode, nothing.
I wish we had hung on that shot of Jax just a little longer.
Nothing happens. Nothing happens here. But it is better than last week.
Really, you think so?
I felt like it.
Okay, good. Yeah.
No
and
way.
maybe it is the addition. It's always good to Frick him and Maysu, even though their dilemma is silly. I like them, so it's good to have them. It's good to have them back. I'm happy. I'm happy that Lucas is going to get a new love interest because I was getting real concerned about what his purpose in this show was, and especially we were talking about this, but what a bummer it must be to have your future in front of you, as I am going to be the husband to the main character of the show.
Which means you're set.
And then to be shipped off to Capital City and she's moving on, and all you have is a park to plan. And so I'm Edie and Lucas, yay for that. And aside from that, this episode's I was as bored as I typically am, but a few more things happened. So good.
I'll say this. I think, we watched other things with this today. I think if you had just watched this episode, I can't imagine you thinking that it was better than the first one. This episode, usually by this point in When Calls the Heart, we have set up the thing that will become the thing that lasts all season. So we've set up the drilling for oil or hot springs, or engagement.
Remember Hot
or-
Springs, Jax? Remember the
Yes.
Hot Springs?
Yeah, remember?
Oh, the
yeah.
hot springs.
And,
They were making money off that tourist
and
attraction.
I think they're still around. They
So we
weren't
were talking about this. Maybe you can remember, but the hot springs ran dry
because of that people
of the
building.
people were building stuff, and then they got told to shove off, and that's now the
If
the
Sheila
land that
were
we're
here,
fighting
she
on.
would be able to straighten this out. for
Shouldn't
us.
getting the people to leave? Shouldn't that then refill hot springs?
Yeah, but I wonder if now they've just moved on and they don't want to make money from it now. They're like,
Yeah,
okay, on to
money's
the next.
overrated. Yeah. Of
Yeah.
course. So what I'm saying is usually 2 episodes in, while the show is slow, it like every season I can tell, like, you know, there's a whole Hamilton season. There's a season where the mine blows up. We have drilling for oil. We have running for governor. We have every season usually starts slow. However, it does give you the game pieces of what they're going to do. Through 2 episodes, we have newlywed Hickam and Mesu. We have a park. We have a woman that wants to make the park smaller. We have radio. We have Allie getting older. We have this kid who's here with Nathan. My point is this, is I've never been more bored and simultaneously more concerned that our big overarching plot this year is less than usual. It's less than what we normally get. And I think I have a pretty good right to be scared of that. Am I not mistaken there?
Let's think about this, Dan. What if they're doing something truly postmodern where they're creating a show that doesn't have conflict?
And
we just have to sit with that.
It's just fully, but the problem is, Jax, is that was how I was pitched the show before I started watching it. It's Brigadoon, it's blah, 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 and it's just here. But the problem is, Jax, is every season has conflict and has a narrative arc, and you and I both know it. So you can't tell me in season 12 that we're just here watching people's lives. It doesn't hold water. And
Right.
Instead, it's just boring. And listen, my parents watch this show, and my dad, my mom and dad are fantastic people. I was shooting basketball with my dad and my son last week, and he goes, "Son, we watched When Calls the Heart and it finished." And I looked at your mother and I said, "What did we just watch? What did we just watch?" And my dad watches every week, like volitionally with my mom, watches every week. And after the
Inevitable.
No, you'll get there. And after the premiere episode, my 72-year-old father, who has seen 12 seasons of When Calls the Heart, he's not a newbie. He's not here to pick. He's not here to throw stones. He gives everything the benefit of the doubt. Always. He verbally, out loud said, "What did we just watch?" This is a problem. It's not just me, guys. It's worse than it's ever been. Unless you just love... Unless you know, I will sit through watching. Almost just cussed a whole bunch. I will sit and just watch sewage for 38 minutes as long as Nathan and Elizabeth kiss at the end, and I know that's coming. Unless that's what you are and who you are, and that's what you care about, this show is resting on laurels it never had.
Hello?
It is. Yeah. Hi.
It's me, Laurel.
We have Laurel.
We do.
Okay, and
Laurel,
you
yes.
you
You can call me
confirm
Laurels.
that Laurels that When Calls the Heart's been resting on you. That sounds a little dirty.
Well, I didn't hear any of that. I just heard you call my name and I came running.
No, resting on laurels.
Right. That's me.
It's not you. It's a noun. It
I'm
is not
Laurel
a person.
S.
Laurel S.
Oh.
What's your last name?
Samsey.
Samsey. Yes, Laurel Samsey. Okay.
I
This
run out
is
of soda shop.
Laura, this is a big misunderstanding, and
Okay.
I'm really sorry that it happened. Will you accept my apology?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Is there anything else you need to say? Or are we
Two
good?
things really quickly.
Okay, yeah, that's
Vote for Bush.
But for Bush,
Uh,
what year is it, Laurel?
It's 2000.
2000. Stop the steal. Got it. Got it.
And go blue.
Go blue.
Michigan.
Michigan. Got it.
I know. I can see how it's confusing.
Yes, great.
Vote
Awesome.
Bush.
There was a lot there. All I'm saying is that this show, unless
More
you
or less.
care about Elizabeth and Nathan continuing to court, this show has never been more meaningless than it is right now. And Please, someone tell me what the big plot is this season. After 2 episodes of any season we've watched before this, I could tell you with pretty good certainty what the ongoing plot of the season would be. Who shot Lucas?
Elisa says the coin in next week's episode looks like it's going to take weeks to figure out. So something there's a coin to look forward to.
Week. So this week through 2 episodes,
Let's go
it's not who
coins!
shot Lucas. It's not the race for governor. It's not is she going to choose one of the other. We have not. Somebody, one of you, just tell me what the big overarching thing is right now. Tell me what it is.
Well, Allie seems to be into Oliver, for what that's worth.
Okay.
So that could be something.
But is he too?
I don't know how old he
over?
is. He could be anything, really.
I think he's over 18. I know the standards
But the thing
were
is
different then.
Allie is 26.
But she's got pigtails.
She's still learning her ABCs, but she's 26.
Yeah.
What's the big thing that's happening this season, Jax?
That's a
Right
good
now
question.
through 2 episodes.
I think it's. I think what it probably is that I'm wondering if the amount of sexual tension we're seeing between Elizabeth and Nathan, are they going to show them doing sexy things before they get married?
They already have.
It's.
Time
I
out,
mean,
but
it is.
I just want to be very clear. The arc of this season
Will they? Won't they?
is
Yes.
is Nathan Grant and Elizabeth doing sexy things before they get married.
Like, are they going to push it? I just feel
Push it real good.
like they might. I feel like they might give us more than they've given us before in that
What
respect.
are you anticipating? What in your career of covering Hallmark? What are you anticipating them potentially showing us on When Calls the Heart?
A show
just,
that's watched
like,
by my 72-year-old Southern Baptist pastor father.
Was she gonna take her socks off? What do you?
But if you do it the right way, it can be the sexiest, even dirtiest thing.
Yeah.
And they,
gosh.
I think they're walking that line right now.
Yeah, no, they clearly have run out of Elizabeth and Nathan have done it. I think we all are on this I'm sorry, When Calls the Heart fans that are chased. Like, are you kidding me? Both of these people are in their 40s. They both are living alone.
And she already has a kid, so she does already know how to do it.
That's right. There's not going to be a problem with wins and wears. Here's the thing.
Wins and
There's 12 people in town. There's just no worlds where they haven't done more than they're showing on the screen.
Yes.
And if you think the arc of this season is that tells me all I need to know. Having said that, better show. It's a better show that you're talking about, but just barely, but it's a better show.
Other than that, I understand your point.
Yeah.
Right?
I do think they are putting pieces down. They're introducing. I can imagine if you were a series regular on this show and your part is getting smaller, it must be interesting to have them introducing new characters.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just like Martin Cummins. We do this every year, and this isn't fair. We do this every year. Poor Martin Cummins. This guy, why wouldn't he be phoning it in at this point? He's maybe the best actor on the show. For my money, I think I would say he is the best actor on the show. He's doing nothing. He's doing nothing. I just, he's in 2 scenes, a half day's worth of work. I don't know what they're paying him, but it doesn't, he's just barely there. It's crazy.
So was Laurel's talking to us from the year 2000, and we're just going to let that go?
There was so much there.
Okay.
And Laurel then said, vote for Bush. I said, what year is it? And you said the year 2000. So either the only option there is she's calling us from the past.
Yes.
Yeah.
So do it.
Or I just assumed, considering how I said rest upon your laurels and then Laurel S called.
Right.
I was under the assumption that Laurel may not have the wherewithal to know what year it actually is.
Oh. Sad. Oh, man. Let's get to all the fields where we talk about what and who and where. What and where.
And how, for
gave
that
us
matter.
feels. Jax?
Let's talk feels.
Let's talk it.
I think that Oliver is so sweet. Like, I feel like he's a kindred spirit of mine when he's dropping all the things and he's just like this bumbling kid. I just see such a vulnerability there that I really, really love. I also got some big feels when Florence was talking about hating comic books. A spirited performance. I saw her getting all revved up, and I loved it.
Sure.
Those sirens in the background were the police coming to arrest Jax for her all the field segments.
I have one. I am, you know this. I love instruments of all kinds and varieties. And Rosemary has what I can best describe as a pocket xylophone. And imagine what I could do with that. Imagine if I had a
so
pocket
much
xylophone
annoying.
at my disposal. I think that'd be really fun. And so shout out to Rosemary for knowing that she needed bumper music, and when you know you're in 1921, you got to provide your own bumper music. So she went out and got or she already had a pocket xylophone, and she said, "This is good enough. If it's good enough for NBC, ding ding ding," which wasn't around then it's good enough for. She creates the NBC.
She creates the NBC
jingle
pocket xylophone,
which you could do with pocket xylophones. So shout out pocket xylophones.
I don't really care if you're a church person or not. I think "It Is Well With My Soul" is one of the most beautiful songs that's ever been written. It's amazing. And Rosemary sings a little bit of it to Goldie in this episode. And for the briefest of moments, maybe 5 seconds, I forgot I was watching Wind Calls the Heart because the song is just beautiful. It's a beautiful song. And that was my feels. Those 5 seconds did not make up for the other 42 minutes of what I had to watch, but it was there nonetheless.
And,
so I wanted to point it out.
We're actually going to listen to the entirety of it as well here during this break. So enjoy that, and then we'll be back to talk about
Every verse, huh?
Yeah, every verse. It is well with my soul. Let's get to the way. Well, welcome
That
back,
was
everybody.
really beautiful.
Thank you. Well, that's why we want. That's why.
Yeah,
the
we
music
just,
barn.
if you were here during the break, you got to hear like Aaron
thing.
Shea is in full tears over there.
Yeah, it's
like
beautiful.
it's, you know.
Which verse
can
was your
feel it.
favorite?
It's really when you guys just hit that harmony on the third verse. I'm gonna be okay.
That's
I'm gonna
really
be
good.
That's right. Amen.
Let's get to the way what is where we talk about what in this episode made us go away. What? I'll start with you, Jax.
I have a couple.
Okay.
I have a couple. I think Elizabeth is a fantastic teacher. I love this field trip she takes with them. But I have to say,
I'm sorry. It was just a teacher snort over here. Don't mind me. Just a real teacher laughing at your words. Sorry. Go ahead.
I know we need so many permission slips to do that now. but we're living in a different world.
Yeah.
You're not, anyway, I was going to say
Back
something.
in my
Anyway, back in my day. The line of dialogue where they tell Mrs. Thornton that she's the cat's pajamas, and then she says, "Don't you mean the wolf's pajamas?" I physically got red from embarrassment. I'm not even kidding you. Like, I actually got red.
Oh,
and
man.
it was, and then it happened again when they said, and I love a pun and I love Harry Houdini, but when they said Harry Howladini,
It was the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
I got red again.
It was really bad.
It was and then finally the last thing was, and I love her performance and I was so happy for this, but it's the only thing I could think of. When Rosemary busts in for the potluck and she's like, "I have pie." Like, I was like, is she on Adderall? Like, it was so intense and it was so next level. And nothing wrong with being on Adderall, but if you don't need Adderall, sometimes
Jack's doing a quick backtrack for those on Adderall listening. Jax,
Anti-Adderall.
Would you? And maybe I've not been on a lot of sets, but sometimes I'll watch a scene and I'm like, was this the first scene they shot? Like when Rosemary pops in, didn't it feel like this is the first scene we shot? We have no feel of how the day is going, and it just feels like I'm out of the gate too hot. We don't have time. Let's keep moving.
First of all, I think that's very astute. It did definitely feel like, to your point, they had a later call time than usual, or she did.
Yeah.
She was totally caffeinated.
That's right.
She was full of energy.
right.
And they didn't really talk about what time of the day it was. And but honestly, I was here for it. It was one of my favorite parts of the show. I thought it was just, she's a gosh darn delight. And honestly,
Adderall problem on the set of When Calls the Heart?
Good. We're
Is
gonna
Martin Cummins delivering Adderall to everyone else? Is that why he doesn't have any scenes? Too busy slinging dope?
Yeah.
Oh man,
Anything else, Jax?
no, that was all.
that's it. Airtight.
Gowan,
Hard to have a
my
wait well when nothing
guy. Mind your business, bro.
Mind your business.
These kids are in there, and they are excited about the new comic book. And Ned is like, you're going to have to pay for those. And they're like, we don't have the money. And Gowan pipes up and goes, boys, maybe you go out there and you help Ned bring in the new stuff. Maybe he'll just give it to you. Not your place, Gowan. It's not your business. Literally, it's not your business. To be giving out Ned's free comic books.
You can't be giving away that. That's ridiculous.
That's not your place, man. And so,
And as the drug dealer on set,
I know.
you would think he would know.
He would know.
Give away product
that's
for labor. Yeah.
That's exactly right. At one point, Mei Su says, I like the sounds of that. And that just made me laugh because plural. I like multiple sounds. I like all of the sounds of that. This episode, I think it was because there were lots of scenes where Elizabeth was with all of the children in the classroom. Like I feel like they've kind of gotten away from lots of scenes with her in the classroom, but they are in the class. They all have their comic books. They go outside, and we're once again reminded of the large gap in which of ages that she's having to teach.
The ever-growing.
But my takeaway from this, especially when they were outside, is there are so many children of color in a town where, as far as I know, there's only one family of color.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
that was a big deal when it happened. And now all of a sudden in this classroom, this class could not be more diverse. But the town isn't, as far as the adults go. And where are these kids coming from? I don't know. But shout out to Hope Valley once again, a beacon, a city on a hill, and it's beautiful to see. But I noticed it, and maybe that's why they don't do it anymore.
I think we've established, because they have decided they're living in some sort of utopia, right, Jax? Like they do this thing where they talk about war just enough to remind you that Jack's dead, but most everything they do here. Nope, not Jax's. Oh, okay. Jax. Jack_S. It's a Laurel's thing all over again. We don't have time. Jax is dead. Nope. Jax is dead.
Oh no.
Oh.
Gosh dang it.
It is well. It is well with my soul.
So it's really in a utopia, right, Jax? Am I mistaken there?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Great. That is the only, because they basically were like, we have this one family of color moving to town, and the next thing you know, it's a venerable melting pot of the Pacific Northwest.
Yes.
There's this weird mining town in the Pacific Northwest that's like just a real, like all the main characters white, obviously, but all the background actors, aside from Mei Su and the Canfields, all the main characters white, all the background actors mixed race, all of them just kind of intermingling. So that's not how that would go in the 1920s, but it is how it goes on When Calls the Heart. And but it's pretty stark sometimes where you're just like, I don't know. Were you done?
I just loved that her plan for the day was to teach this class civics, which is just not something like, can you imagine walking into a class full of our children
Yes,
and being like,
yes.
hey boys, it's time to talk civics.
No.
It is so crazy to me that, obviously this is how it used to be. You'd have the one room, but you would still divvy it up, right? Like
Yeah.
you would have
So-
different I don't know. And this is why they don't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Because every time they do, I'm reminded of how crazy
Well-
it is that she's teaching kids 17 to 7 about civics.
Well, I think we've done this bit several times on the show. However, the difference is, Bran, the top age is getting way higher.
getting higher.
And so when we did this bit, I mean, as early as when Panda was on the show, R.I.P.
Russell,
obviously.
yeah.
I remember going, you got a kid who's 5 and a kid who's 11 in the room, and they would try to differentiate. Like Elizabeth would do this thing where she'd split them up into groups and be like an old kid with a young kid and blah, blah, blah. But now your difference is 5 and 20. Like Allie, there are 3 or 4 kids that are in between 17 and 20 real life age on that show at least. And so now it's just straining any credibility. 5-year-old and 20-year-olds, like, what are we doing? When it's 5 and 11, it's like, you got to do what you got to do. It's 1915. But now that it's 5 and 20, what are we doing here? I mean, it's crazy. You're 100% right. Gowan in the last season becomes Lucas's like consigliere, like his right-hand man, like his guy that he trusts to give him advice. Correct? Am I making that up or is that correct?
Sure.
Jax? Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
This season, Lee has to go to Capital City for Park. You know who doesn't need to go to Capital City? Gowan. Why not? Why not? Because he's got a hazelnut business to run? Because he's shaking like kids for comic books? Like he literally is giving them comic books, not paying any taxes, any labor, and children are working for him, hauling bags of hazelnuts. It's a mess. This is a mess. And he should be in Capital City being the right-hand man of Lucas, right? Am I just completely wrong on that?
No, this also made me think of, I was like, is this a weird scheduling thing? It made me think of the season, the final season of How I Met Your Mother, when Jason Segel was really busy filming a bunch of other things.
Yeah.
So basically the whole season he was in the car with another actor, and it was great, and she was a great actor too, but like it was a scheduling thing. And this made me be like, wait, are Lee and Chris McNally, Kevin Smith and Chris McNally just shooting all these in rapid succession because maybe Kevin's schedule is different this year or Chris's? I don't know. It's something about it didn't sit right with me
Especially
either.
since it made so much sense that Gowan would be Lucas's right-hand man for a
Exactly.
number of reasons. Gowan
Yeah.
has some political experience. We sometimes still, they want you to question if he's good or not, like
Yeah.
they do with Lucas. It just makes too much sense. And instead it's like, why doesn't he sell hazelnuts two scenes an episode? Like I couldn't get over it. Hey, what Rosemary's doing is not news radio. It just fundamentally isn't. They keep saying news radio, and then she does a show where everyone gives their opinion on comic books, none of which is news. It's not. It's an hour of not news radio. She creates the Maury Povich show. She's not reporting the news. Nothing.
I basically felt like she was creating her own podcast network.
Yeah, it was very
She's ahead of her
much
time.
a podcast thing.
She's a trailblazer.
100
Yeah.
years ago. That's exactly what it was. And since we know we're in a utopia, you know how I know we're in a utopia is? The comic book that everyone's reading is a comic book featuring a female lead superhero astronaut in 1920, which is awesome. If we had that comic book and it was flying off the shelves and had mass acceptance in 1920, who knows? Maybe we'd have seen a much different landscape with some better socio-political views than we have right now. Who knows? But we didn't. And instead of that being a fun thing for me, it was just a reminder that would never, ever occur. And that was a little disheartening. Lastly, and this is a huge one, and I almost threw up watching the show. Hickam and Maysu are going out to the vineyard where he proposed. It's a vineyard, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And she thinks she's taking him to surprise him. And then it turns out he has set up a meal for them to have in the vineyard, right?
Sure.
And the meal is set up so far that there are glasses of champagne poured with no bubbles in them. So at some point, he went out there with fully cooked food, put it down, covered the plates, poured the champagne, left, went back in the car, picked up Mesu. Faith drove him back out there. That's how I understand that, correct?
Yep.
Okay. They sit down, they uncover it. It's fish. He has cooked fish, and he's left it out in the sun. He's left it out in the sun. He's left it out in the sun with flat champagne for Lord knows how long it takes a 1920s car to go back into town. It's just lukewarm, skin-on cooked fish. And I want to die a little bit. It's disgusting. That's all. That's all I got.
It's time for Hopes and Valleys, where we wonder what would give us hope for the future. Whatever. Jax, what do you got?
I hope that this adorable little girl, who I don't think we know her name yet, but she's friends with Lily.
It's
She's a little
Opal.
black
Come
girl.
Come on, Jack.
Opal's a young woman at this point.
There are a couple of cute new children in town.
But no, she's the cutest. Like she's like Mrs. Thornton with the big smile, and she's with Lily all the time.
Yeah.
She's so cute. I am hoping, give this girl an arc. She can act. She can act. Let her do some things. Give her a real place in this show.
When she said a wolf print, and the two little kids were like, wolves. It's very cute.
It was so cute. It was so
It's very
cute. Please let this little girl do more. I beg you. Valley, I'm not into the Lee and Lucas thing, and I'm hoping that gets like whatever's happening.
Squash it.
Squash
that
it.
beef.
Because Lee and Rosemary, it cuts down on the time that they can spend together.
Which is one of the best parts of the show.
Exactly. Yeah. So please, that's my Valley. Please don't let the two of them be doing like their two-man show like in Capital City. Like, let's bring everybody back together.
My hope is that sometimes TV shows will do a thing where it's like, we're just gonna focus on one thing this week. And it's like,
when's the last time Win Calls Hearts?
Never. But what
Never.
I would like to see one episode devoted to Gowan and his hazelnut business. I feel like there's something there, like, and let's just let him shine. He's a person who just really wants to be in business and do it right and do it good. Do it good, do it the right way.
Do it the right way.
And
by
so,
paying kids, not in money.
That's right, but in comic books. I want one episode. Can you imagine episode 6 of this season's just all Gowan? Just cracking hazelnuts.
What's the name of that episode that's just about 11 in season 2 of Stranger Things?
Yeah.
Call it that.
That's
Call it
right.
that exact name.
That's exactly right. I would love it. And I'm one of the ones that likes that episode of Stranger
that
Things
episode
too.
Sucks.
So we all have our things. Give me one episode, all Gowan, all hazelnuts, all the time. I'm nuts. Dan?
I am, ostensibly hopeless at this juncture. There's got to be something they're not telling us yet. And I don't have any hope that it's any better than what we've gotten. But if they're not telling us yet, it's even worse. So I don't have any hopes. It's all valleys. It's just one big decline for me. And it just keeps plummeting the depths. That's what I've got so far.
Well, there you go.
Thank you.
We did, everybody. Congratulations to us. We're going to be back next week with another episode of this, and we'll be back tomorrow with another
We've
episode
also
of
got
that.
What's Calling My
we do have
Heart,
What's Calling My
Brand.
Heart.
Send us
That's
an
right.
email, hello@deckthehallmark.com. Tell us what's calling your heart. If you're listening right now, somehow live, this is our last email, our last What's Calling My Heart email, which means if you're listening live right now, it would be an amazing time. Like if we somehow got next week's episode already and we were going to record right after this, to have an email, it'd be awesome. I mean, but that's just a weird scenario that doesn't really happen often. This email is from Erica. Erica says, "Hey, you guys, I love the pod. The days when you talk about When Calls the Heart are my fave. Gotta catch every second. Have to tell you, I am going to the Hardys reunion this September." This was last September. "And I can't wait to take cheesy pics in the saloon, and there's going to be an ice cream social, and the attire is comfy and cozy, and I cannot contain my excitement. I totally get the plot holes and the inconsistent storylines, but isn't that kind of like life? Like, don't we all live in a world that doesn't often make sense? But we take comfort in the people around us who love us and try to live peaceably with our neighbors and look up knowing God has us no matter what. I feel for an hour every Sunday night, I get to visit Hope Valley and smile at little Faith and sigh at a big kiss and wish Minnie's cupcakes were real. It's like hot cocoa for the heart. So I'll keep watching no matter who Lizzie ends up with and no matter how many times I roll my eyes. P.S. Glad to be your reporter for this event if you like. Can't hold a candle to Jack's, but I can light a match. Mount Rainier size blessings, Erica. From Spirit 105.3 Mornings.
Whoa!
She's a radio host.
Oh!
Erica,
Sounds
hey
like
girl, come on.
a Christian radio
I
host.
gotta be honest. I was out on replacing Jax, but now I'm in.
Yeah.
I mean, you understand.
But also, Erica,
Completely,
we have a full
completely.
demo of that It Is Well that Brandon and I sing. So just let us know. Brandon and me sing. So you just let us know and we'll throw it on the air for
But
you.
also, you've never once asked us if we want to come on your show. And
I feel
maybe-
like you've done her show.
Have we done the show?
2 or 3 times?
Okay.
Yeah.
2 or 3 times.
That's
I think-
we haven't done
That's
that
amazing.
much radio.
I think you've done her show at least 2 years.
Okay.
I think it's up in the PNW. It doesn't say
I do
here.
remember definitely doing it one time.
Yes,
I
yes.
remember doing
There we go.
one radio station up in the P Dub,
That's right.
P
That's
and
right.
Dub, at least one time. I got a face for radio. We'll be back next time with another one. Until then, may the first wish you a
Merry Christmas!
Deck the Hallmarks, a Bramble Jam podcast, is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.